Hello, everyone. Welcome to High Vibes and a Mic. We are your hosts, Silvia Madden and Veronique Anenter, moms in our 40s and 50s with lots of great spiritual insights and funny stories to light up your day. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Hi everyone. So Sylvia and I decided to record a series of 3 short bonus episodes about the following topic I wish I knew. So for this episode number 1, we decided to talk about fertility and what we wish we knew a few years ago about it. And today we're going to talk about fertility. That we something we wish we knew about, when we were younger. So the first thing I wanted to say is when I was younger, I wish I knew a bit more about fertility because as a woman, it's such an important topic. And I don't think they talk about it. Maybe it's not their job, but when I went in high school, as when you're a student, I think we should have more information about relationship and things like that. So having like a baby maybe later in life is more difficult, and of course when you're 20 you don't think about that, but nowadays I think we should tell people, young people, if you can, freeze your egg, because that's something I wish I would have done when I was younger. It was really hard for me to get pregnant because I started in my late 30s and I knew I was going to have issue anyway, but if I had froze my eggs earlier, it would have been so much easier.
Yeah.
What do you what do you think about that?
Yeah, and even if you freeze your eggs, there is a chance that the whole transfer is not going to work. So it's not like the easiest way to get pregnant, right?
Yeah.
Like going
Hmm.
through all that process, because you need to be like, you're going to have to take hormones and go through all those procedures, and you spend more money because it's also, if your company doesn't provide that, it's just like another thing to add. So just try to have children a little earlier if you can, or just have that in mind, because yeah, after 30, definitely you start like really like taking longer and longer. With me, like, I think that the main thing also is also how hard it is to recover from that. So I didn't think,
Hmm.
especially after
Yeah.
you have like my third, when I had my third, I was 41. So with my first 35, so it wasn't that bad. But when I had my third, I was 41, turning close to 42, and wow, it took longer. It definitely took longer to lose the excess weight. I mean, there's always those health concerns that can come with it, right? You can get
Hmm.
like more in risk of preeclampsia, diabetes, because you're
Yeah.
older. So it's just all those things that you need to take into consideration. I think like mostly the recovery part takes longer for your body to bounce back, if that's the plan. Most of the women want to bounce back. It's
Yeah.
not that easy. With my first, within 3 months, and my third, it took like a good year for me to go back.
Mm.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
noticed a difference. How about you? Like, what
Yeah.
else do you think you
Well,
wish you knew?
you talk about diabetes. I actually had it because I had my first daughter when I was 39, close to 40. So
Hmm.
I had gestational diabetes, and at the end, I had to stay in bed for like 3 months. I couldn't really walk. I couldn't do really anything because I had other issues. And that's something, yeah, that wouldn't happen when I was younger. Um, for the thing to froze your egg is, for me, the main issue was because we started so late after when I wanted my second kid, my eggs were no good. So I was thinking, with Pascal, we were thinking, oh, if we had, eggs, if we had frozen our eggs, my eggs when I was younger, we had more chance, to do something.
Hmm.
Um, like when I was like 35, I started doing some treatment and I had like a batch of maybe like 10 eggs. And the thing I didn't really like is the team I was working with at the time told me, oh no, we don't want to take a chance that you had multiplets. So we're just gonna, dump that batch. Excuse me, you want to gonna dump what?
Yeah.
Oh, my babies. And at that time, okay, I understand you don't want me to get, multiple, babies. Although a doctor later told me, oh, that wouldn't have happened. But could you maybe offer the maybe to froze those eggs? Because the option wasn't even on the
Yeah,
table. They could at least have asked that. They would have maybe considered, oh yeah, that's an idea. We don't even think about that, but you're the medical team. You could have think about that. You could have thought about that, right? They didn't even
yeah,
offer. So
yeah.
I
Especially
wasn't.
because those eggs were probably good quality eggs that
Yeah,
they just discharged like that. They discarded.
yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. Because I was like in my early 30s, so I'm sure they were better quality than when I tried to get pregnant at 40. And at the end, it worked out. We adopted our second daughter, and she's a joy. We love her. But all those, things you go through to try to get pregnant when you're in your late 30s. Also, I will say to young women, don't pay attention to all those women in Hollywood. Please don't.
Oh
They get
yes,
pregnant
please
at
don't.
50, 60, whatever. Those are
Hmm.
not their eggs, or they are not their current eggs, okay?
Yeah,
It's either the eggs they froze when they were 20s, or it's either somebody else's egg, 25-year-old woman or something like that. There's no way it's
yeah.
theirs. And they don't
They
say it.
pretend. Some of them pretend and just say it's their eggs, which is very misleading. To just create that hope in women. Because there is this actress in Brazil that I think I told you about it, and she claims that she got
Oh, God.
pregnant at like 58 or almost like
Oh,
something
my
some
God.
crazy, like over 55 for sure, on her own, just by accident. I'm like, are
Please.
you for real? Please
By
stop lying.
accident?
By accident. And then later on, and then she goes later on and she said, oh no, actually I did do a treatment, but that was it. It's just kind of a treatment, maybe to try it, like to help with pregnancy. But she didn't
Oh, come
go
on.
like, oh yeah, well, we pretty much just got another egg. That's what you did. But she
Yes.
still denies it. And it's just like, there's no way. I'm sorry, but unless you're a super like 0.0001% of, I don't know, a
Yeah,
miracle,
no.
what are
Mm-mm.
the odds? And she's divorced because of the whole story. Like, she was married before, got
Mm.
divorced, and then she married this other guy. And her ex-husband had another baby with another woman.
Oh,
And funny enough, 1 year later, she's like, "Oh, I'm pregnant too." So
yeah.
I think she wanted to have another baby with this guy, and she planned.
Hmm.
And the eggs were not hers. Simple, why lie? Just
That's the
just tell
thing.
the truth.
That's what I don't understand. Why are you lying? Who cares? We don't care. We know you
Yeah,
cannot get pregnant at 60. Come on.
yeah,
It's like when you say 0.0%. Who's going to believe
yes.
this? We
Yeah,
don't
it just
care.
happens to be an actress who is famous and has money and everything. But yeah, it was just by chance. So yeah,
Yeah.
I wish I knew. That's for sure. Like, it definitely takes longer. it's
Yes.
it's a lot of like with my third. So I got pregnant easily with my first. Second was okay, but I was already 38 when I got pregnant with him, and then had miscarriages in between. After I had my first, I had a miscarriage. Then I had my second. Then I had another miscarriage. Then I had my third. So you see, like, it's always like those ups and downs, and it's not fun to go
Yeah.
through miscarriages. It's very.
Nope.
I know a lot of people don't talk about it. Women don't like to talk about it, but it's not fun at all. It's such a shock in your body too, to
Mm.
recover, and then you have to start it all over again, and just that thought of going through it again, it just, and you get more stressed out, and that doesn't help you getting pregnant either. So it's just like all those things that there's no need to, if you can get pregnant, if you're already in a relationship, or single mother by choice, and you're ready to do it, just do it, like early 30s, mid 20s. Wow, good for you if you can do that. But
Well, I mean, I wish I knew when I was younger about that term, geriatric, pregnancy, which I never heard of before I got pregnant, right? Because I got pregnant at 39. So I wish I knew about that, right? Because that's something that will maybe wake me up and like, oh, after 35 years, geriatric pregnant woman? I didn't know that. So when you see that in your file, you're like, what? I'm not old. But for your eggs, and according to the doctors, you are. So you have to be aware of this. You have to be
Hmm.
very aware of all of that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And they are very, the doctors are very realistic, right? They don't like to give
yeah.
you false hope. So sometimes it's all like over realistic. So they're gonna really just say like, "Hey, the chances are this," and not gonna tell you to try too much. Or it can be tough, but it's just what they have. This, they see the numbers, they see the statistics, and they just tell us what it is, and it's up to us to try it or not, believe it or not. But they're just like saying like, "Hey, you're already 35 plus. Sorry, geriatric pregnancy. You're a senior."
Well, girl, when I tried to do IVF, I was in my 40s, and the woman was like, "Okay, the percentage of this working is 2%." I was like, "Excuse me." I don't know if it was two
Two
or
percent.
seven, something like that, between 2 or 7%. And I was like, "What? That costs like $10,000 for one egg, one try, and you have between 2 and 7% of this working, and all those tests, all those hormones you have to take."
Hmm.
And I really thought about it. I'm like, oh, but we really want to have another kid, right? And I'm like thinking, okay, let's just do it. We changed insurance on purpose. We changed insurance because it wasn't covered by the one we had at that moment. So we waited. We changed insurance for a better coverage, and then started all the blood tests and the stuff. I even start, the like egg recovery. I didn't even start all of that. We started all the blood tests and everything. Then I had to see a specialist for high risk pregnancy and all of that. And there was like a mistake. And it got so much on my nerves because it was already too much, right? I hadn't even
Yeah.
started the medical part. So and it took so long also. I don't know. I think I talked about that earlier in our earlier podcast. It took so long. I just gave up, and I just was just crying in the parking lot and said, "I cannot do this." And this is when we said, we might adopt, but I can't even
Mm.
imagine continuing the whole process and 2 to 7%.
Yeah, it's such a low percentage. Even though I do know two friends of mine who did got pregnant at first with that. So that's the thing
Mm-hmm.
too, because you see they give you those numbers, and a lot of women are gonna give up too. It's like, oh come on, 2%, 7%. So it's hard to know, but like for them it worked. But it's that thing, like this, like the first time it worked for one of them, the second time it didn't, and then the third time she ended up getting pregnant naturally. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just, you never know how it's gonna be. Really, that's the tricky
Yeah, I
thing
know.
about
Yeah.
pregnancy, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's just so. And for me, like one of the things that I didn't consider, that sometimes I think about in my mind, because I see moms from school, and there are a lot of them are much younger than me,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I'm thinking, okay, I didn't think about that because I wasn't worried about school and all that and any of that. But my youngest, when I had him, I was 41. So I'm thinking like, okay, when he's in kindergarten, I'm going to be 50. And with those moms who are like 30 something, 34, 35. So there is that is like a big age difference, and something to consider. Can bother some people, others not, but like it's just be
Yeah.
aware that when you join like the it's school age, you're gonna see that huge difference in age with the moms. So
I
just
swear.
something
If
to
someone
consider.
tells me, if someone tells me is that your granddaughter, I'm gonna kill that person. You better not ask me, for Naomi because she's in daycare right now. So when she's gonna go to kindergarten, I'm gonna be like 53, something like that.
Oh
You better,
yeah. There are
you
chances of
better.
that happening.
Okay, you're gonna ask me, are you the grandmother? You better. I'm a mom. Okay, so you better not do
Excuse.
that. But yeah, excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something you have to think about the gap. Yeah, the age gap difference with other mothers.
Yeah, I never thought about
Me
that before. Never like, ah,
neither.
yeah, it's cool, like whatever. But then when
Hmm.
once you join the school, it's a whole different things that you have to worry about, which we're gonna talk about it more in other episodes too.
Hmm.
The whole
Yeah.
school interaction with parents and activities. But yeah, that's something that just after I had my first in school that I realized, and I didn't even have him that late. My first I had when he was 36. And
Yeah.
but the moms now, they're just kind of like they turned 40 recently, and I'm ready,
Hmm.
little past 40, let's put it this way. So Yeah, it's interesting to see the difference. And there's some who started at in their 20s and they have already four kids and they're like 30 something. I'm like, oh
Done.
my god.
Well, the thing also, people, who are listening to that podcast are going to say, but I'm 32, I'm 33, I haven't met anybody yet, so I'm gonna have a baby.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a single mother by choice. Referring to
Yeah.
our other episode 60. Yeah, of course. That's why also, when I was in my 30s, I was thinking, oh my God, TikTok, TikTok. I need to get married soon. I need to find someone. And the thing is, when I met my husband, I wanted to be very like regular because in my family there's a lot of I have a lot of cousins who had babies with no dad, and it was an ordeal, and it was like a bit messy. And I was like, this is not for me. So I did the thing regular. I waited like 1 year to get engaged, like 1 year to get married. So it's already like 2 years in your
Mm,
biological clock.
yeah.
Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. I should have just
You shouldn't
started,
have.
when
Oh,
yeah,
no.
I should just go ahead. When we were like engaged, I should have gone. I knew we were gonna stay together anyway. He loved me, I
Yeah.
love him. I mean, I should have just started there, and also I would have discovered that I had an issue, by the way, because I always thought, I wasn't always regular. So I was like, oh, let me check with the doctor before we got married. I went to see the doctor, and I'm like, let me check with him if everything is okay because I'm gonna try. And that doctor is like, so how long have you been trying? I'm like, oh no, we're not trying yet. We're gonna try after the wedding. It's like, oh, so we're not gonna test you for anything. You have to try for a year, and after a year, if nothing is coming out, it's coming up. Then we're gonna start doing some tests. I was shocked. I'm like, really? So we cannot do like check, my hormones and stuff? He's like, no, 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 you haven't even tried. I should have lied. I wish I knew,
Yeah.
and I should have
So
lied
many
to that
wishes.
doctor. Yes,
Yeah.
because if he would have tested me, he would have seen that I had like PCOS, I had issue with hormones, and my eggs
Hmm.
doesn't grow big enough for the sperm to find it. So I had issue with that. So yeah, if I had done the test right there, I would have maybe like gained 1 or 2 years because I
Yeah.
wasted a lot of time with that, a lot of precious time.
That's for sure. And when
Hmm.
I met Patrick, I was already my husband. I was already
Hmm.
35. That's when I turned 35.
Hmm.
And I didn't I just knew we were going to stay together, like those things like you with Pascal. And I just
Hmm.
knew and I'm like, you know what? Not going to waste time. Not going to
Oh,
worry about getting pregnant. If I get pregnant, I'm going to get pregnant. I didn't think about like getting married and all this, and like otherwise it
yeah.
would be already way too old. And I'm like, okay, if it happens now, it's great.
Yeah.
So it took like 6 months, I think, that we were dating, and then like whoop, got pregnant. And he was a little nervous at the time, but I said, "You're gonna be fine. Don't worry. You're gonna grow up now.
You're
You're a
gonna,
man.
yeah, you're a man now. You're gonna be a dad.
You're gonna be a dad. You can handle it." So
No, but you were
yeah,
right. You were right because if you would have waited, maybe you wouldn't have 3 kids. Maybe you would
yeah.
have maybe like 22. So after one,
Hmm.
we unfortunately have an expiration date on those eggs.
Yeah,
So a lot of
yeah,
things. I have two daughters, and I'm gonna talk to them. I'm not gonna tell them to get pregnant at 20, of course,
yeah.
but I'm gonna tell them, if you find someone, don't wait. Like I have this friend also. I think I told you about her. She met her husband when she was like, she was 21 when she met her husband. They had like a good relationship, married, three houses, good career, no kids by choice, saying, oh, we have time because they also have a job where they were traveling a lot. Then at 40, she wakes up, she's like, oh, I think it's time for me to have a baby. And I think because also she was watching a lot of TV and stuff and thinking, like all those stars, I can have a baby at 40, whenever I want. Never took. She got
Mm,
miscarriage after miscarriage after miscarriage. And so we don't talk anymore, but I don't think she ever got pregnant. She haven't gotten pregnant because she started way too late. And she was with her
that's
husband for
sad.
20 years. What's your problem?
Yeah, especially knowing like she probably knew it was her fault, like her decision to wait. So can you imagine how
Yeah,
frustrating it is, the regrets of waiting all that time, and then when you finally decide to try, then it's not going to happen. So even for
I don't understand.
adoption, even for
I don't get
adoption,
it.
I think that if it's something that
Hmm.
you're considering doing, you should just do it too,
Yeah.
instead of just
Yeah.
waiting. I have a friend too, like they can they are a couple, they can get pregnant, and she's already like 44, I think. And I just knew they would love to have a child. And in my mind, I'm like, why don't you like just start? If you want to have a child, just start the adoption process. Don't wait. Don't. That's
Yeah.
another thing, not to wait either. There's no need to wait. Just follow
Yeah.
your impulse. Sometimes it's good. It's
Did
that sign.
Did you tell her? Did you tell that friend about your friend Veronique who adopted and it takes a long time? It's a long process. Did you tell her about it? I
Yeah,
mean, the
well,
children want to adopt. Do they want to adopt?
yeah, they are not that open. I suggested that, but I
Hmm.
just suggested one time, and she was like, "No." So I didn't want to talk
Yeah.
too much about it, but I was wondering, like, it would be so good for them, but maybe they think it's too late. I think that's what it is in their mind. Like they think it's too late,
Yeah.
and the husband is older as well. But well, it's up to the couple. But I just think that
Yeah.
if you feel that it's the right thing for you, just do it. Right?
Yeah.
Just don't wait too
I
long.
mean, I wasn't on board for adoption at the beginning. It took me at least maybe like 1 or 2 years to be like, oh yeah, maybe we should adopt. I had like an
Hmm.
epiphany, one day I was like, yeah, we should. But at the beginning, Pascal suggested it, and I'm like, I don't know. It took me like a year to make up my
Yeah.
mind.
Right.
So yeah, you never know what people are going to think or do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my main thing I would just want to repeat before we leave is, for me personally, don't wait too long. I mean, if you have somebody in your life and you know it's going to work out, you don't really need to wait. I mean, you don't. I don't think you need to wait. I mean, if you're already in your late 30s, don't wait to be married, engaged, whatever, or the whole family has to be there.
Mhm.
Just have your babies. You want babies? Just have your babies. Okay?
Yeah.
If you're in a good situation, just do it. Don't wait too
Just
long.
do it. And we
Hmm.
have two other episodes that we talk about that as well, about
Hmm.
pregnancy. There is one about fertility and another one about geriatric pregnancy. So
Exactly.
check them out, episode 23 and 24. It's back to back, and it's all related to try to get pregnant later and the fertility issues that we face. Women, right? The joys of being a woman.
Exactly. All right, so I think that's it for today. Thank you very much for listening to us. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok and to leave us a review. It really helps our show.
Yes, please. We really appreciate it. Thank you guys, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to High Vibes and a Mic. Until next time, laugh hard, stay silly, and never forget to bring your sense of humor. Please follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest.